So this is Josh, another one of
Well, I
our
was wondering if we were going to
students.
introduce Josh here. I thought, shall I be talking to him? Hi, Josh.
Hey, Joyce. Now, I'm a big fan of movies, and you know a lot about
Me
movies.
too. Yes, I love
So
movies.
I have to ask you.
Yes.
You saw the Oscars this year.
I have gone to the Oscars actually to cover them for 25 years. I didn't go this year, but I watched them.
It must be a lot of fun.
It's incredible. I mean, you really can't believe when you're standing on that red carpet who you're seeing. I mean, there's Tom Cruise, and here comes Kanye West. So here's Clint Eastwood. Excuse me, here comes Meryl Streep, and they're all right there. I mean, it's you can't even believe who you're, and they're all together, and everybody really wants to chat, and they're all dressed up, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, and speaking of Meryl Streep,
Yes.
I was going to ask you about, because she was in a terrific movie, I believe, Julie and Julia.
Exactly.
This year.
I
And,
love that film, and I loved her performance.
and obviously, you know, Sandra Bullock won.
Yes.
To some people's surprise. What was your opinion on that? Did you agree with that?
Here was my opinion. Everybody was predicting Sandra Bullock to win the Best Actress Oscar. I mean, that wasn't true in the beginning of the year. Everybody was kind of predicting Meryl Streep. And then there was like Streep backlash or something, like Streep-lash. I don't know what you call it. But she got to be on the covers of all these magazines. A lot of people interviewed her. She's been nominated 16 times, although she's only won twice. And she hasn't won an Oscar since 1982. So, you know, I think she's due. She's like the most beaten nominee, you know, over time. She's the person that most people have beaten out for an Oscar. But the tide shifted to Sandra Bullock because she was in a very popular movie, The Blind Side, which was a good film, but it wasn't a great film.
My mom said that was like awesome.
It was a lovely film, you know, but to me it was it wasn't art, you know, and it wasn't as memorable as Julie and Julia, which also wasn't art, but I thought it was more entertaining film. But Sandy Bullock got very, very noticed because it was less of a comedic role and more of a dramatic part. And then she's very liked. I mean, she's a lovely, lovely actress who doesn't put on airs. She's not pretentious, and I think that's the way the tide went. She was never my choice. I thought she did a great job, but I think she's got lots of a career ahead of her, and I thought Meryl Streep gave a very memorable performance. So I thought she was gypped. I thought she should have won this year. Everybody wanted to see, I thought, Meryl Streep get up there as Julia Child and say, bon appetit, while she was accepting her Oscar.
That's a good impression.
I love
Just
Julia
like
Child.
the commercial.
Well, yeah, speaking of your cancer, my dad had another form of cancer, testicular cancer. And, you know, he told me that, you know, since he had it around the same time as you, I believe, and like you pointed out, there was not as much treatment.
Right.
So I was curious, what was your first feeling? Because he said he was scared to death because he felt that he was going to die.
Yeah.
Was that your first reaction?
My first reaction was such total shock because honestly, I am the healthiest person in the world, except for every now and then I get cancer. But I never get a cold. I don't get the flu that goes around. I'm really like solid as a rock, except for the occasional bout with cancer. And so my first reaction when the doctor told me was I couldn't even imagine it. I mean, I had a little mole on my leg, and that's how it started. And it didn't hurt. There was nothing wrong. I mean, how could he be telling me that mole could kill me? This seemed impossible. But then they painted a pretty bleak picture, and then I was in shock.
No, not me.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
It seems like there's got to be some mistake.
So few people get it. Like, why me,
Well,
right?
exactly. Well, you know, I never had that feeling of why me. Everybody deals with something in their life.
Makes you
You
stronger
know,
because of it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, some people are dealing with, alcoholism. Some people